Last year, I started 4 businesses. I also studied at Harvard and taught dozens of Harvard alumni on starting their first business. I was named the youngest and most innovative person in my state, and I graduated high school. But this year has been one of the hardest years of my life. I want to share some of the lessons I learned this year with you. 1. Everything that I did last year took months to do it, so patience really is key. Last year I did my first TEDx talk, and it actually started exactly a year ago from today. Today is December 23rd. It's actually my birthday today. I turned 19 years old. But what I learned was that even though it took 4 months to do my TED Talk, and then it took 4 months to start up companies with Harvard students, and then it took another 5 months for another project to even get off the ground. And now it's taking about 8 months to do this TEDx ASU event that I'm doing. Every big thing takes a long time, and I know I'm doing it quicker than most people would do anyway. Most people in my position would have done this TEDx event and planned it out for 2 years. I've time crunched it into 8 months, but big things do take a long time either way. It'll take at least months to do one big thing. Even my next book, I've spent 4 years writing the next 2 books that are coming out. 4 years for it. So patience really is key. 2. Do so much good that even when someone takes down something that you do good, there's still so many overwhelmingly good things that you've done that it doesn't affect your brand in any way. This year I launched my second book, Teen Failure from Nothing to Nothing, and basically it was a play on words based on my first book, which was called Teen Success from Nothing to Something. Now, this book had a lot more personal details on my life, on my mental health struggles, etc., but it was immediately requested to be taken down by one of the people who was mentioned in the book. And to me, it was a point of goodwill because I was talking to my audience, to you guys, about the struggles that I went through and the reality of how hard it is to really get up off the ground and going, even though the life sucks and it hurts. For those of you guys who don't know, well, this year was the hardest year of my life because of how many things I've done this year, how many big things I've done this year. Last year was the worst year of my life in terms of I was so emotionally drained and so emotionally broken that it literally caused me to write my first book and have everything that's happening today happen because of what happened last year, because of how horrible it was to me. But despite me having to take down that second book, when you look at the rest of this year, I've inspired kids by going to Harvard, teaching the Harvard students. I inspired kids by doing the TED Talk. And I've literally had, just this last Friday, I went over to a college party with some high school friends of mine, and one of the kids there took me aside for a solid 15 minutes and just, not vented, but was just Ken, I appreciate you. You've inspired me to do so much and to change my life. And then, that's one out of many times this year, especially as we're coming into Christmas, especially today on my birthday, where people are just Ken, you are such an inspiration. Keep moving forward. We've always got your back. And so, by bringing that goodwill up over and over again, and by trying as hard as you can, even if something doesn't go your way, because of how many times that you decide to keep pushing forward, it will always come back to you in the end in the most positive way. Number 3, loneliness is the price of excellence. I know I talked about how I went to a party last Friday, but that was one of 2 parties I went to this year, this entire year. The only other party that I went to was also in December. And so many people are just oh, well, you're obviously going out to parties, you're having fun while also doing all these great things, and you're so amazing for that. And the brutal reality is that I honestly have not gotten more than 7 days off this year. And even on those 7 days, I would stay up late doing research. I was staying up late to do work during those nights because the days were all taken up. Shoot, I went to Disneyland for the first time this year, and I absolutely loved it. At the same time, all 2 or 3 nights that I was there, I was reading a book, or I was texting about work. Even while I was at the park, while I was waiting for rides or something like that, I was texting the Harvard kids, and I was just like, okay, this is what we're going to do. I was texting my team, okay, do this while I'm gone. And it gets lonely. You know, for the first time in a year, I had gone on a date, and while we're still good friends, that didn't go so well. And then just recently, I went on another date, which it was fun, but also not turning into a relationship. And the main reason I think that is because I'm too focused on working, on doing these great things. And now, this is not a complaint whatsoever. I love the life that I live, but it does get lonely. And that's okay. It's just difficult. But if you can get through the lonely times, the good times will come soon enough. And after all those good times come, you can then take a step back. For me, it's financial. I want to be financially well off. Then take a step back and indulge in the fun that everyone else is having now. And I don't mean parties or anything like that, but I mean just being able to spend time with people that I love even more than I do now, which is very bare minimum, but I want to spend more time with them. 4. I'm actually going to read this one off because it is that important that I get the words on this right. Inspiration comes from witnessing someone else's success on someone else's most desired result that they lack. So, basically, the reason people get inspired is because someone within their realm does something that is great, that they wish they could have done, but they haven't done yet. So for me, there's actually a really funny story, and I guarantee this couple is going to watch this and be like, Ken, why did you put us on blast? But I'm going to put you guys on blast anyway. So 2 of the people who are absolutely crushing it on my own TEDx event, TEDx ASU, they're dating, but they're also doing so many incredible things. They're helping out with this project. One of them wants to be a head of engineer for an F1 team. The other one wants to become one of the top accountants in the world. And on top of that, they are putting everything in TEDx ASU. And they're doing so many big things on their own. Like, bigger than I've done, in all honesty. And I am jealous. Not necessarily in what they're doing in the professional realm, because I feel pretty fulfilled in where I am at now. But I'm jealous that they have a relationship with each other in the way in which they do it. Because it reminds me of the relationship that I had previously, and I miss it. I miss having a relationship. I miss my partner. Now, of course, I'm trying to find a new partner, I'm going on more dates, etc., etc. With time constraints, that's a little hard. But it's just that one part of, I wish I had someone, in that sense. Like, I have amazing friends, I don't really talk to them unless it's about work or something like that. And I just want someone who I can hold, who I can hug, who I can say I love you to, and not it being weird or someone calling out me being gay. Although it is fun to mess around with people, and whenever they say love you bro, I just say gay. Obviously in a joking way, but like, I wish I could have someone like that. I really do. But hey, being envious is okay. It's just, don't let that envy destroy you. Let that envy inspire you to do more. On so many cases, people are inspired by me because they see what I have in the professional world, and they say, I wish I could have that. I'm going to start striving to do more. Just as I look at their personal lives and I say, man, I'm so tired of the professional life. Not in a bad way, but it's just like, I've done so much, I want to fulfill my personal life. But in the stage that I'm at right now, I know I can. But either way, inspiration comes from seeing someone else do something that you want to do in a field that you lack the experience or the results in. 5. If you dream so unbelievably big, people will shout on the rooftops for you. this lesson comes from what I'm working on right now, which is TEDx ASU. I started this project and I was like, you know what, it would be cool to host a TEDx event. And you know what, because I'm Ken, why don't we try and go for the largest TEDx event that's ever happened? It worked a little bit too well. Too many people liked the idea, and it grew so exponentially fast that now we have professionals who are working on it. We have a team of 60 plus students working on it, or 70 plus. I've lost count of head count. But we have so many people who are working on this project, and I'm getting in touch with some of the highest people in the largest college in the world, and that's not a joke. We have 180,000 students at ASU that I have the entire ability to connect to and to have help on this project. But I don't even need to do that because my team is doing it for me. I don't even need to recruit people. They're doing it for me. So if you do something that is so unbelievably big, and you have people shouting from the rooftops, they will always shout you from the rooftops, and you will always get what you want as long as you're doing bigger than you ever could think, and you just make the steps and commit to the steps of getting better and better to move forward. And people will see that, and they will help you out as much as they can. It's gotten me a TV station. It's gotten me a couple of other things that I'm not going to tell you guys because I'm not under NDA just yet, but I think it'd be a surprise. But so many amazing things. 6. Delaying the truth will show you who your real friends are. For those of you guys who don't know, I made such a major mistake last year that caused me to spiral into really have the worst emotional year of my life, and that's because I held back a lot of the truth and I over-exaggerated a lot of it. And I was too upfront and too forward with the information that I got very quickly. And so, for me, delaying the truth, while it didn't necessarily come off great to a lot of people, it did show me who, like, the real people I should be talking to are. Because if there's an issue that comes up, let's just say, for this example, Ava Chris Tyson and Mr. Beast. I do not like controversy at all, but this is a great example. When you see Mr. Beast defending Ava Chris Tyson, that is a form of supporting your friend as soon as it happens. And if my friend was accused of it, I would absolutely defend them all the same. However, the thing that comes down to is Jimmy wasn't given all the information at once. He was given some of the information, which is the accusations, and he didn't believe them because the information he had prior. Now, once he did investigations, it seems as though that the accusations were actually very true, and now she is off the team. And the way that I think of it now is there's minor controversies that happen all the time with everything that happens. And multiple times during the TEDx ASU project did we have a couple of different people wanting to leave and threatening to leave. And majority of the team would freak out for some of the people who would leave and be like, we don't know what we can do without them. I don't want them to leave, that kind of stuff. I understand, but that's when I had to come in and say, hey, stop it. We don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing yet. Let's stop freaking out and let's figure it out step by step. If they do leave, okay, let's figure it out. If they don't leave, okay, let's figure it out. It's never a good thing, it's never a bad thing. It's just something that happens. Remove the emotion from it and delay what your true thoughts are until after it happens, because after it happens, 99% of the time, you don't need to show any concern, any emotion. Why? Because it wouldn't have mattered. It would have only made things worse. So by delaying the truth of, especially on an emotional level, by delaying the truth on how you feel on an emotional level, you can typically find a good resolution without causing more trouble. Alright, number 7, this is a big one. So, if you know someone and their only goal is for self-gain, you have the power to change the narrative. There was a friend that I had, and we did a lot of business last year, and the business didn't work out. Now, this isn't to say that the business was a total failure. No, there was a lot of learning points for the both of us. But he came in wanting to get money, to get rich, to be able to, live onto a farm, be retired, and just have fun with wife, kids, yada yada. That's what he wanted. But after doing the business and spending so much time with him and being like, look, I care about the mission, and through the mission we can make money, but it's got to be through the mission of the company, which is helping other people. He then, now, he stepped back and I care about my community. I care about the people around me. I want the best for them. I will work as hard as I can for them, and as a proxy I might make money, but it's not about the money, it's about them. And that's the most severe case, but this is happening on so many levels. There's a guy that I know who was playing guitar for this girl and swooning for her and all that stuff. The girl doesn't like him, but he learned guitar because of it. And now I'm not saying that's a good or a bad thing, but even though he learned guitar because of this girl, he now, just plays the guitar for fun. And before anyone is like, oh, no, I play the guitar for fun. I don't care about doing anything for the girls or whatever. I just care about doing what I want to do for fun, and if a relationship comes out from that, whatever. But point stands, when you do something for the essence of it, not because of someone else, but because of something else, because of greed, if you do it, you have the power to change someone's mind to not be greedy, to not be so self-serving. Because when they see what it was all about afterwards, what they could use it for afterwards, which is for the good of the people, which is for knowing how to play an instrument, to tell a story, anything like that, it oftentimes changes the narrative of all the people involved. And that is such a powerful tool. This only goes to you new entrepreneurs or you youngins like me, and it's always ask for more than you feel comfortable with. If you are working on one of your first projects, you often need to ask for more than what you feel comfortable with. And I know that because I don't feel comfortable a lot of the times at asking for the things that I need. This year has had to change that so much. I've had to ask so many people for so much help. From, the likes of Mark Cuban, I've asked for help, to, Mr. Beast's employees, I've asked for help. You need to ask for help, even if you're going to get rejected, because even if you get rejected 100 times, it's likely that you're going to get one yes. With this TEDx project that we're working on, it's just been ask. And I now, on the back end, need to work out how can I give for all the asks. But that's just one of the hardest things to get to, but it is so important for us to be able to do. And asking is such an important tool. Ask more. Just ask more. 9. Your brand is who you associate with and what you associate with. Make sure you do not mess that brand up. There have been so many times this year where I had so many different opportunities with some cool people, but they wouldn't have been a part of my brand, a good part of my brand. There's one guy who absolutely got sued out of, but he was such an amazing dude. But not for my brand, because one, this dude got sued. Why did he get sued? Because of immoralities that go against my brand and are being proven to be true. Now, is this guy an amazing dude? Yes. Do I love him? Yes. Is that someone who I'm willing to publicly go forward with, to make a video with, in order to make a podcast with, in order for us to be able to be branded together? No. Why? It's because his values aren't in line with mine. And so I need to protect my brand like my life depends on it, because in reality, it really does. Because in 2 to 3 years, as I'm recording these videos and I'm going to start posting them on the channel start of next year, when all these videos go live, when everything happens, it's going to take years to build up to where I want it to be, but it would take even longer if I start off on a bad note with people who I don't want to associate with. Because if I keep associating with people who aren't in my lane, it only gets harder, it only gets worse later on, because I'm not associating myself with people with the same values, and I can't have that. 10. Unjustified effort gets you unjustified results. Many of you guys know that Alex Hormozi launched a book this year and broke the Guinness World Record for most books sold on the launch, and this is for nonfiction books. He made $106 million in 72 hours. I also attempted a Guinness World Record. It's still pending on if it's being approved or not. I still need to get a little bit of paperwork in just to show that I actually did it. But when you look at everything, is the unjustified effort, does the effort get to the means? And in my case, yes, it absolutely does. But that one Guinness World Record took 5 weeks of planning. It was to collect the most business cards in 8 hours. And it took 5 weeks of planning, of figuring out, okay, what route do we go? What buildings do we go to? How do we figure out who to talk to? How can we make sure that we can get as many people there as possible to grab as many business cards as possible? That's a Guinness World Record, and it took 5 weeks for one 8-hour session. One of them. And I'm still doing the paperwork. And it took, and it's now been about 2 months. 2 months for this Guinness World Record. But the unjustified effort will always get to the unjustified means. So always go for the unjustified efforts, and when you get to the goal, which will happen by setting an absurd goal, and just by going, you're gonna see that it was worth it all along. So keep going on an effort that you think is impossible, because I promise you it's more possible than you think. We're now going on to the second page. Now we're getting to the real good stuff. Number 11. This is a little bit different than the other one, which is asking for help, but it's use every resource possible. I can't tell you how many times I've talked with business owners this year, especially in the Harvard community. Love you guys, by the way. But you guys don't look for the opportunities. You wait for them to get handed to you. The reason that I did a TED Talk was because I used my resources. And what's my resources? My phone that I'm recording on. What's my resources? The laptop in the corner. What's my resources to make the song? My guitar. Someone who I know, who knows how to produce music. An animated film, which by the way, I semi-soft announcing right now. I have a drawing tablet. You need to be resourceful, because if you aren't resourceful, you will never have the resources to do what you want. Because if you think that getting $1 million in your bank account right now will solve any of your problems, I promise you it won't. It's being able to use that $1 million that really counts. And so many people say, oh, I used that $1 million so great. I'd be so good with money. No, you won't. Because if you were, you would actually be saving up money. You'd actually be investing now. Now, not all of you are in this place, but when, from what I've heard, the average American has $3,000 in debt. That's the average net worth. $3,000 in debt. Why should I believe that you would be responsible with $1 million when the average person can't even stay that even? Be resourceful. Be resourceful. Look things up on the internet. Look things up on your laptop. Like, if you play games and you want to be a game developer, learn and look at the games that you're playing and figure out, okay, why did they structure a map this way? Why did they tell this story this way? If you're learning guitar, look at videos of guitars. Why did they do this? Why did they do this? This is pretty cool. Let me replicate it. Stuff like that. Use your resources and use what you have. If you're watching this video right now, you have more than enough resources to get to where you want to go, to have the resources to make almost any goal possible, whether it be doing a TED Talk, making a movie, building up a social media following, making music, building video games, like all these different things, building businesses. Just if you use your resources. 12. So this is less of a lesson, but more of like, this is what I've noticed, and it's, my goal is to pave the way for others. Making history and showing the how is the greatest gift anyone can have. As I'm going through everything that I'm doing with TEDx, with Harvard, with the Phoenix Business Journal, with everything, it is in my best interest for my goals to show the how of how I do everything and just do cool things. And so many people are like, oh, well, you're in it for the money, you're in it for the... Yes, obviously, that's a part of it. But the main part for me, which is my life goal, is to help 1 billion people before I die. And making videos like this on lessons, and then soon videos on the how I do things, that's what matters to me. And seeing how I've helped so many people land their first TED Talk, get into Ivy League schools, doing all this, that has meant more to me than a single paycheck has. And I promise you there have been some paychecks, especially recently, that have come by that are absolutely insane. I'm talking, we're about to get some 6-figure paychecks at the beginning of next year. But that doesn't mean nearly as much as me helping out even a single kid do a TED Talk. And of course, it does mean a lot because that 6-figure paycheck means that I'm helping them a lot as well, the other company that's paying us, companies that are paying us. But the point is, money is part of it, yes. But the main part of it is, money is a side effect of the main thing, which is helping people, because people pay you because you help them. So why not make the goal just to help them? 12. Not every successful person has skeletons in the closet. I have heard from so many people, especially recently, that everyone has skeletons in their closet. I'm gonna be real, I don't. Why? Because I put on full blast what I've done wrong. I've lied, I've done so many horrible things, I've been abusive, I've been a bad boyfriend, I've been a bad friend, I've been a bad son, I've been a bad brother. I don't, but yeah, you get what I mean. The skeletons in your closet are things that you're ashamed of talking about. And I've noticed that the more vulnerable you are, the more mistakes that you make, and the more that you say that I regret it, here's what I've learned, it's never gonna happen again, people trust you more. And so this isn't to say make mistakes purposefully and then say, oh, I messed up, here's what I did wrong, I'm not gonna do it again, and then you do something bad. It's you actually make a mistake, and then you talk about it, and you're like, don't be stupid, don't do what I did. And so, on this journey on YouTube, it's really to don't be stupid. There's actually one very specific example that I can talk about. I have several professors who know what I'm doing, who are like, oh my gosh, Ken, you're doing so much, you're doing so great. And then they're like, tell me the story. Tell me why you got here, how you got here, where you're at today. And I said, well, this is a little bit of a sappy story, but I fell in love with the girl. And I messed up. And we broke up, and I spiraled. I didn't know what my life was, and I spent 6 months alone. But during that 6 months, I published my first book, and I decided that I couldn't let this hold me back. And so, starting today, I'm gonna just move forward. And to them, it's like, I'm not holding anything back, because that's just a dumb story. Like, of course, teenage love, and then falls apart, and then you use it, you go insane, and then you make everything happen. It's like a fairy tale. It's lame. But it also hurts, and I show that it hurts because it really still does hurt. But that openness changes so much in someone and how they perceive you because you're being truthful and honest. And that's the most important thing with that. Morals are good. People will always respect you. People will always listen to you because they know that they can trust you, because you will never shy away from morals, and when you do, you will immediately correct yourself because you see that it's wrong. And that's how trust is built. And so, by saying that everyone has skeletons in their closet, it's because they're too scared to ruin their brand, even though, realistically, it would only help their brand if they had said their mistakes, and as long as their morals are correct in a societal sense. Which, to me, I believe my morals are, because I really do care about the people. I really do care about each individual. And as long as I keep doing that, I don't see anything wrong with what I do. And so many people resonate with that, and so it's only been reinforcing to me, and I'm going to keep going down that path. 14. Network does not equal net worth. I've heard so many times that your network is your net worth, your network is your net worth. I cannot stress this enough. No, it does not. I've literally met Mark Cuban. I have literally met some people who are like people that everyone here would know, that I can't talk about yet. But I have met these extravagant and grand people. Where's my paycheck? It's not from any of them. And no, I'm not saying that they need to pay me. And I absolutely do not want them to pay me. Why? Because you're not my customer. But the reason that people say your net worth is your network is because typically your network is your net worth, is because your network can typically get you opportunities that increase your net worth. Absolutely true. Do you know what's more important than your network? It's your skills and your discipline. Why? Because networking is a skill in itself. Your network does not define your net worth, but your skill of networking defines your net worth. Your skill of business gets you your net worth. Your skill of whatever you're skilled at defines your success in a field. Because if you know how to network, which is a skill, which just is talking to enough people to where you understand your own limits on how you can communicate with people. So you do that, and then you learn the skill of something else that can accommodate to being able to help that specific person that you're networking with. That builds up your net worth. That does. It's the ability to find people to talk to be able to talk to them, to be able to have a skill that they're looking for, and then to ask them for money in return for the skill. That's what gets you rich. It's not your network. It's the networking. It's not who you know. It's how to figure out, to find out how to find the people that you want to know, and how do you get to know them. That's what makes up your net worth. 15. Courage can be faked. Bravery can't. Courage is the feeling of an action, but bravery is actually taking the action. For example, I've wanted to write a book for years, and I've been writing a book for years, but I've never published one until 2 years ago. A year and a half ago. I did not publish any book, and my book absolutely sucked the first time. But for about 2 years before I published the first book, it was just a dream. It was courageous for me to talk about writing a book. Bravery came from writing the book itself and publishing it, despite it being bad. So, the action is brave. Courage can be faked, because courage just means talking about it. It means being like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. Bravery is saying it and then doing it. Or not even saying it, it's just by doing it. I didn't tell anyone that I was going to get into Harvard until I got to Harvard. That was bravery. Everything that I had talked about and done so far is bravery. It's by taking the action despite how scared you may feel. Even if you're courageous or not. That's what bravery is. And so you don't want to be courageous. You want to be brave in order to move your life along. So have bravery. 16. 99% of the people who appreciate you will never tell you, and half of those people won't even know until it's too late. There are times when I've lost friends and I've cut off relationships, not in a romantic sense, but in a platonic sense, in a business sense. And so many times they do come back to me and they say, Ken, thank you for being such a great mentor. Now, that's not everyone, but that's enough people for me to know that not everyone does it. And I'm not a great mentor to everyone, but it's enough to show me that not everyone tells me. In fact, it took that same party where another person, over 21 of course, but drank some alcohol and was a little loose, but talked to me and was just like, hey Ken, I've never told you how amazing you've been in my life. I actually went to this college because I thought of you, and I really wanted to be like you, and so I thought of what you would do, and I wanted to go to this college, and it's been working out great. Obviously swearing words and not like that, but this person would have never told me that had they not drank. I can tell that people just hold back because they feel afraid of telling you what you really need to hear, which is that you're being appreciated. There's another friend I have who calls me every so often, and I call him every so often, and he's just like, Ken, my friend Anne, my friend Anne, she won't call me. My friend Jessie won't ever call me. And I feel so alone. The truth is, because you tell me, I can't tell you because you won't believe it. But also, like, most people who do appreciate you will never tell you. And that's okay. Just know that you are appreciated more than you think. It's just, you need to keep moving forward so that way you can find enough people who will appreciate you to where you don't have to psych yourself out and you can really believe it because you see it firsthand. And it took me years to figure that out, but it really is true. 17. And 80% of reaching any goal is a consistent belief that you can do it, and 20% is actually doing it. Now that I'm doing TEDx ASU, it is hard to wake up every day and absolutely tell everyone that we're going to crush our goals, that we're going to do everything, and all this stuff. But nothing has happened. Things have happened, don't get me wrong, but like on the sense that I can't communicate everything that's happened because there are NDAs involved and other things. It's hard to show them that I truly believe. But throughout my time of leading this program, I've learned how to get more and more belief on board, how to get people more and more into it, despite what people say. And because of that, now dreams are becoming more and more real because so many people are sold onto it that they, again, spread the word, bring more people in who are also sold onto it, so that way everyone's just sold and we just go. And without this belief, it wouldn't be possible. We're working with college kids. If they aren't encouraged to do it, or they don't believe that it can be done, they're just going to say, not worth my time. But it's because of those people who really believe that it could do it, that they just move forward. And that is such an important thing. And so belief really is 80% of it. And it is hard work after that. But 80% is the belief and 20% is the hard work on a mental load front. So believe in what you want to do. 18. You get to define what fun is. I've only been to 2 parties this year. And I could have defined fun as parties, as hanging out with friends, as all of this. But even though it's been lonely, I define fun as the active progression towards my goals. And whenever I do that, it releases dopamine for me because I set fun as that standard. And so anytime that I'm going for my goals in that sense, which is to reach 1 billion people, that releases dopamine. That to me is fun. You get to redefine what fun is to you based on what goals you have. If you want fun to be parties and having fun with friends, go for that. There's nothing wrong with that. For me, I care about my goals more than I care about going to parties. So I would rather go towards my goals than go to parties. And that's on a real note. And so that's something that I've been working on, and it is absolutely difficult. But that's what's required for me to be able to be sane in all this, to have fun. And it's by redefining fun. And so my biggest lesson on that is redefine fun to what you want it to, and really define it. Do you want fun to be progressing towards your goals? Then figure out how you can make that definition fit into you just working towards your goal. If fun for you is drinking, partying, all that, that's fine. But define it. Make sure you know that's what it is. Don't fake yourself. Just be like, this is what I want. And go for it. And 19, anyone can be successful. There's a quote, actually a movie that I watched earlier because, again, it's my birthday. Come on. I at least gotta spend 2 hours having a little bit of fun. But the quote was, one act of goodwill always sparks another. In the sense that anyone can be successful. You can either take my success and use it as inspiration, or you can be that first light for someone else. It's just that first person has to do it, and it could be you. Use that source of inspiration and just be the first one. Make that spark for someone else. Now, I know that I did 19 lessons for 19 years, but I wanted to give you one bonus lesson because I really think that this one is just so near and dear to me, and it's so important. And I actually wrote the whole thing out. If failure is only because of a timeline, nothing is failure until you die. If we have a goal that is big enough and we try hard and smart enough, it will happen in some point in time. And if you do not accomplish that goal, you would have inspired hundreds of others to finish that goal after you're gone. Although death is unpredictable and comes sooner than we like, we can spend the time attempting the impossible, or we can placate to what the rest of society believes is. The latter will always hold people back. The former will always challenge what we do as people. If you want to help the most people possible, you hold back because of one of two reasons. You don't actually want to push the boundaries of what a person could do, or you don't see how changed your life can be when you dare to do something that's bigger than yourself. And if these lessons at all speak to you in any way, please subscribe. We're trying to reach 10,000 subscribers by the end of 2026. But I'll catch you later.